My cold is gone, so here is my Better Late Than Never January wrap-up. Hey everybody, welcome back to another video. Like I said in the intro, this is my January wrap-up. I had a cold, so I couldn't film it as early as I usually do it, so yeah, like I said, better late than never. So for January, it didn't feel like a very strong reading month for me, even though I haven't rated anything lower than a 3 this month. But I felt very slumpy this month, even though I read 6 books this month, so it's still pretty good. Granted, one of those is an e-novella, and the other one is a very short book. So I read 2 full-length novels, one nonfiction Christian living novel, one nonfiction memoir, an ebook novella, and a smaller novel. So without further ado, here are the books I read in January. So you guys will be so proud of me, but I finished The Return of the King by J.R.R. Tolkien. I finished my first read-through of the Lord of the Rings trilogy. Granted, though I did cheat a bit, I did not read the appendices at the back of this. I just read the novel part. I will read the appendices sometime in the future. I just wanted to get this novel read. I really enjoyed this book, though. I enjoyed a lot of the characters we don't get in the movies that you meet in the book. I enjoyed a lot more the character interactions in this book, and I enjoyed really fully exploring the relationship between Faramir and Éowyn, which you don't get in the movies. In the theatrical versions, it's like hinted at, but in the extended edition, you get a little bit more dialogue and relationship build with them, but you don't even get half of what you get in the book, which was just so amazing. I really enjoyed this book. I think it was my favorite out of the 3. In total, of course, I did give this book a 5-star rating. I then read To Returning by Rochelle Decker. This is the Coffee&Chapters Christian YA book pick of the month. We had to move our live show for this, so the live show is Monday, February 13th at 6:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, so come check that out. It is going to be a spoiler-free live show. I have finished the trilogy. Melanie is only on the first book, so if you're only on the first and second book, still come on by. We won't spoil you for the rest of the series. I did a full-length review of this. The series started out really strong for me, but didn't really end out on a high note. So if you want to see that review, I'll post it up here or down there somewhere, so you guys can check that out. So overall, though, I gave it a 2.5 3-star rating. It just wasn't my favorite, sadly. This year for 2017, my church is doing a 2017 reading challenge. So our pastor found this reading challenge on a Christian blog and was really excited about it because he's a huge reader. So he wanted to challenge our church to do some reading as well. There's different sections you can do. You can do like a light, an avid, a committed, or an obsessed. And apparently, according to him, I'm doing the obsessed, because apparently I'm a big reader. So I don't know if I'll actually get around to doing the obsessed, but they have different like types of books you can read, like books on theology, a book of comics, an essay book, a biography of a Christian, a missionary biography, a book written for your gender, those sort of things. So there's a lot of different types of books we can read. So I did pick up 2 books for that this month. The first book I picked up for that was The End of Me by Kyle Idleman. The End of Me is about coming to the end of yourself, where you just have nothing left. There's nothing more that you can do. There's nothing more that you can do for yourself, and you're just completely bankrupt and destroyed, pretty much. You have nowhere to go, and you've admitted that I have nothing left. This is the end of me and the beginning of a life in Christ. And I really liked the biblical standpoints of these teachings, the strength of the biblical teaching. But what I liked most about Kyle's teaching and Kyle's writing is his accessibility. This was not overloaded with major theological themes or major theological wording. It was just very accessible if you don't understand all of those, or if you don't even know that yourself. It's just very everyday language that really made a point. His illustrations and his examples were just really well implemented in there and just made the whole thing flow very well. I read this book within a week and gave it a 5-star rating. The next book I read was a nonfiction biography, The Mystery by Lacey Strum. Lacey Strum was the lead singer of Flyleaf and is now a solo artist. I've always really enjoyed her music, as well as the messages and the stories behind her music, but I loved even more her book, The Mystery. This one I picked up as a book geared toward my gender, so I really recommend this actually for every woman to read. Lacey talks about the mystery of finding love in a world of broken lovers, and she kind of opens up more of a topic instead of just physically protecting yourself and physically keeping yourself, but also mentally, spiritually, and emotionally. She talks about an affair that she was in, but that was more of an emotional affair rather than a physical affair, and so how those things are also dangerous. and it's talking about how to protect yourself and how those relationships develop, and then what it looks like to have a healthy view of relationships. She's mentioned in the book that a lot of these things she wished she was told as a single woman, because she did get married really young at 19, but then was divorced, had that affair, and then ended up marrying her now husband, Joshua. So it just talks about her story of how she developed those healthy ideas of a relationship and just learning to protect herself. I do recommend this for every woman to read, single or not. It is a fantastic book, really well written, and I just really liked Lacey's honesty and just her heart. Really felt like it was poured out into this book. I would recommend this for older teen and up. She talks about some really hard, tough topics such as child abuse and sexual assault, self-harm, suicide, and some other trigger warnings there. So I would recommend this for the older, like 18 and up almost. I then read my friend Melanie's book, Reality, Darkness into Light. Melanie sent this to me and asked me to read it and give her some notes on it, so I have yet to do that as to the recording of this video. I enjoyed the idea of it, the concept of it, and the message Melanie is trying to bring forth in her writing. That's really all the thoughts I have on it at the moment, but I gave it a 3-star rating on Goodreads, and like I said, that's really all the thoughts I have on it at the moment, but I really like the message she's trying to portray with this. I then read Conductor of Light by Rachel McMillan, and this was an e-novella that was actually free for pre-order, so I got it free because they had some special deal for pre-ordering it, and that is a novella for the Herringford and Watts mystery series by Rachel McMillan. I really enjoy these little mystery in-betweens of the bigger overall storyline. I find they kind of fill in a few things because they do refer back to some of the events in their bigger mystery storylines, and I just really enjoy Jem and Miranda as characters and just all the shenanigans that they get involved in. This one follows Ray DeLuca as he is out watching a theater show as a reporter, and Jasper, who is out at the same theater show, escorting a lady friend. One of the actors falls down dead on stage, and it is not part of the show. So Jasper takes control as the constable, and Ray, of course, gets into the thick of things as a reporter. And just so happens to be walking by is Miranda and Jem in their usual disguises of men's suits and bowler hats. So once all the characters are collected into this story, all the shenanigans and fun ensues as per usual with Jem and Miranda. What I liked that it was set in a stage setting and in a theater setting. Things were set up as Act 1, Act 2, Scene 1, Scene 2. So the setup of the book was really fun, but there was also a lot of play on words, a lot of Shakespeare references, a lot of play references, and just a lot of theatrical themes and play on words and a lot of really fun things. And I just really like the way Rachel McMillan really writes these types of books to fit the themes of the story. And again, I just enjoy Miranda and Jem as characters and just a lot of the shenanigans they get involved in. I gave this book a 4-star rating. It was just a fun, light read. I read it in one evening. They're just really fast, fun stories that I like to read in between waiting for the next books to come out. So those are all the books I read for the month of January. Let me know in the comments below if you have read any of these or if you have any questions about any of these. As always, guys, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!